because we got to end early so I can pick you up. All right. First off, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. It's all honor and glory to the Most High God through His Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ, and of course the Holy Spirit. Man, Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes, Ashar Shabbat. Right. We back at it again with another Shabbat service. This one is entitled, "Shall we receive good at the hands of the Most High and not evil?" Man. Right. Because a lot of times our people, we have a mindset of believing that the Most High is all good, or they can't understand or receive the chastisement of the Most High because they don't understand that you got to receive both at the hands of the Lord. Right. You can't receive one and not the other. So I'm going to kick it off with an opening precept in the book of Proverbs. All right, classic precept. We kick it off with it. All right, book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 1. And it reads, "A false balance is an abomination to the Most High, but a just weight is His delight." Right? So a false balance is an abomination to the Most High, but a just weight is His delight. So evil, good, if you get good from the Lord, you have to receive evil. Right? Because that's a just balance. You can't have one and not have the other. Right? You have to have both. Right? Let's go to another classic real quick. Opening precepts. Right? Let's go to the book of Romans. Right? Chapter 15 and verse 4. Right? It's the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." Right? So understand that these things that are written aforetime in the scriptures are literally for our learning, and that we might have hope. So when we go through these precepts and we find these precepts of men of the Lord receiving good and bad at the hands of the Lord, right? You understand that you must receive both. You understand that, hey, just because you're receiving bad at the hands of the Lord doesn't mean that the Lord doesn't love you. It can literally mean the Lord loves you at a high rate, man, right? Or it could just mean, hey, you have to receive correction, right? And your mind frame should always have that same notion, whether it's good or bad, when it comes from the Lord, right? As our forefather, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel. How did Eli handle him hearing that he was going to receive bad at the hand of the Lord, right? We got to handle it like Eli did, right? Right, it's the book of 1 Samuel, right? Chapter 3 and I'm going to start at verse number 17. "And he said, what is the thing that the Lord has said unto me? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things he has said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit." Hey, tell him what? Hey, the Lord is not going to let an old man grow in your house. The Lord is going to kill your two sons, man. Right? Hey, damn, Eli could have fell on his knees and wept and said, "Why me, Lord?" and so on and so forth. What did Eli say? "And Samuel told him every whit and hid nothing from him. And he said, it is the Most High. Let him do what seemeth him good," man. That's the spirit we got to have on us, even when we're receiving evil at the hand of the Lord. Hey, it is the Most High. Let him do what he seemeth good, man. Right? And you got to endure through it. Right? Let me get one more and I'm going to pass it. I'm going to go to the book of Job. Right? Hey, it's a lot of it in the book of Job, man. Brothers might you can kind of live in the book of Job dealing with this topic, man. Literally, man. You can live in the book of Job and you can live in the book of Psalms dealing with this topic, man. And when you're going through hell, when you're receiving the evil at the hands of the Lord, maybe those are the books you should be meditating in, man. Psalms, Job, right? A couple of Proverbs, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, which is Sirach, right? All these different books are the books you should be living in as you receive evil at the hands of the Lord and be meditating in continuously, man. Right? This is the book of Job, right? Chapter 2 and verse number 9. "Then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity?" Matter of fact, I want to read verse 1. This is the book of Job, chapter 1. This is the book of Job, chapter 1, right? And verse number 20. right? This is after Job, all his children was killed, all his everything that his possessions were gone, right? This is Job's response. This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 20. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped and said, naked come I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Most High hath taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. In all this Job sinned not, nor charge Yahweh foolishly, man. Think about that, man. Job is receiving hell at the hands of the Lord, evil at the hand of the Lord. And Job did what? He still worshiped the Lord going through the evil, man. So as you go through the evil and you deal with the evil, you should still be worshiping the Lord, man. And know that the Lord giveth and he taketh away, right? And all his works is still righteousness, man. And with that, I yield and I pass it to the next brother.
Good accounts. I'm gonna grab a precept just to, backdoor what you said. So this Proverbs 16 and 11, it says, a just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag of his work. So when it comes down to it, the Lord, is has created everything. He has formed everything that would be good and evil. Salakia. So let me grab this real quick. This would be Isaiah 45, and I'll start at 5. It says, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Because people like to attribute, a lot of these powers unto Satan. You know what I'm saying? Which in the account that Gabar just brought out in Job, the first chapter, we see that even Satan is out here taking these orders. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord is running the show. He's created everything. But let's keep going. It says verse 6, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So the Lord is the one that's like, basically like pulling the strings on the puppet, right? Like everything got to go through the Lord. He got to put his stamp of approval on anything that goes down. You know what I'm saying? He has given us, this book for his measuring stick. He has told us how we should operate. We have, his laws, statutes, and commandments. And if we disobey, then we gotta, we got to go through it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be his call, his judgment, and one way or another. We get one more. We'll go to the book of Daniel real quick. And this one gets brought out at camp a lot. Let me see. Let me go with Daniel 9 and 9, right? It says, to the Lord our God belong mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. And as everyone knows, we teach, curse, of course, would be a bad thing, right? And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. So we see through this account, even by, the blessings and the curses, that's a prime example about how the Lord can set us up on high and give us blessings, as well as bring evil upon us for our disobedience. But he is the author of all. But you got it, you're right.
So let me get this real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 in verse 18. It says, "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." Right now, the reason I brought that out is because, hey, when you increase in the goodly riches of the scriptures, right? When you increase in spirit, you have to know that this is not going to be a cakewalk. Like that's a facade. That's something. When we come into the truth, we feel like, oh, everything gonna be peaches and cream now. Oh, I'm an Israelite. I'm gonna get the kingdom of heaven. We don't understand that we have to receive a form of correction. We don't understand we have to receive a form of rebuke. We don't understand that we have to receive hell, for walking in this wisdom, right? Let's get this in the book of First Thessalonians, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, "For our gospel came not unto you in word only, but also in power and in the Holy Ghost, and in much assurance, as ye know what manner of men we were among you for your sake. And ye became followers of us and of the Lord, having received the word in much affliction with the joy of the Holy Ghost." So, in this truth, you're going to receive the word with much affliction. You're going to go through much tribulation, right? It's not going to always be sunshine, green grass, lollipops and rainbows, right? You got to go through something. Like what? Separating for your family. That's a form of affliction. Right, what? You know what I'm saying? Forsaking your old friends, that's a form of affliction. Right? Losing money because you chose rather to serve the Lord rather than work on the Sabbath, that's a form of affliction. Right? It said what? I'm gonna read that again. It says, "Having received the word in much affliction with the joy of the Holy Ghost." Right? And let's see what these men was going through in the book of Acts, the 17th chapter. It says, "Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures, opening and alleging that Hamashiach Yahushua must needs be suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Yahushua whom I preach unto you is Hamashiach." Right? Here's the point, verse 4 and 5. "And some of them believe." Now, those who believe what? They received the word of the Lord, as we just read in First Thessalonians. And they received the word with much affliction, right? Let's see what that means. It says, "And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks a great multitude, and of the chief women not a few. But the Jews which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company, and set all the city on an uproar." Right? Said these men set the whole city on an uproar. Why? All because what? They didn't want to receive the truth of the scriptures. Right? It says, "And assaulted the house adjacent, and sought to bring them out to the people." Right? Hey, the scripture said these men had turned away from iniquity. So why is it that they're getting this chastisement? Why is it that they're being brought before the rulers, the city council? Why is it that these men are being persecuted? Right? Let's get the classic. Let's get this in the book of Hebrews. Right? Hebrews chapter 12, right? In verse 6. So I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked to him." And it say you forgot these things. Why? Because we are not living in the ancient days like we used to. When we saw signs of the Lord kind of consuming us, you know what I'm saying, when we murmur against him, the Lord kind of sent down a pillar of fire, in a whirlwind. Right? We forgot these things, right? But it says, "My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord." Why? Because we come into this thing with a mindset of, oh, it's all gonna be good, right? But when affliction starts to come, persecution starts to come, it's like, oh no, why is this happening? Right? We forgot the chastisement of the Lord, right? We forgot that what? Salaki, it says, "Despise not thou the chastisement of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked in him." We forgot, "For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." That's why you have to go through these persecutions of the flesh. right? By you.
Right? So the mighty precepts. Let me get back in there with the book of First Peter, right? Chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse number 19. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. Right? That's thankworthy. If you endure suffering and grief wrongfully, read on. For what glory is it if when ye are buffeted for your faults, ye take it patiently? Hey, what glory is it if when you go off, you get buffeted for it? What glory is it? There's no glory in you knowing you was being wicked and you get judgment for that. You already knew you was wicked. There's no glory in that. And it says what? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable of the Most High, man. So what? When you doing well and you getting chastised and afflicted, receiving that evil at the hand of the Lord, when you're doing well, that's when it is acceptable to the Most High. That's an acceptable sacrifice to the Lord. That's what he has respect unto, man. So you want the Lord to have respect unto your sacrifice. So you want to be able to take that chastisement and that evil at the hand of the Lord, even when you're doing well. Not like, oh, I came in the truth. I put away pork. I kind of wear fringes now. I wear a dress if I'm a woman, right? And now I'm going through hell. Why am I even doing this? How is this even worth it? Like, if you got that kind of spirit, the Lord is not pleased with you, even if you continue to keep the commandments. He's not pleased with a spirit that is murmuring against him eternally because they're being chastised by him, man. So you got to search out your spirit and make sure, even when you're being chastised by the Most High, when you know you're doing well, you believe you're doing well, that you're still understanding. Hey, it is like that's the chorus of this video. I mean, this video. It is the Lord, let him do it which seemeth good. That's the priest. That's the little chorus, man. That's got to be your internal thought every time you receive chastisement or evil at the hands of the Lord. It's got to be in you to literally say, it is the Lord, let him do it what seemeth good, and continue to endure through it, man. Right? So it says what? For even hereunto ye are called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Right? So the Lord suffered, man. Yahweh Shai suffered, man. Yahweh Shai suffered. Are you greater than Yahweh Shai to not suffer and Yahweh Shai suffered? No, you're not, right? You're not greater than Yahweh Shai. So if he suffered, you're going to suffer, right? Let's go to the book of John. St. John, man. Chapter 15. Right? It's the book of St. John, chapter 15, in verse number 18. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So understand, the Lord has chosen you. You should be grateful unto the Most High for the affliction that you receive, for the evil you receive in his hands, because he's chosen you to be somebody to endure through these things, to strengthen you and your faith as the times begin to get evil and evil and evil and eviler, that when these evil times come, when you don't know how you're going to eat, when you don't know when you're going to shower again, when you don't know if you're going to live, when you don't know what's going to happen to you, your faith has been built up in the Lord through all the afflictions he allowed you to go through, that you have strong faith to know that he has you, because he brought you through so many different trials, man. Right? He's proven you through so many different trials, man. There's no good in gold. When the gold gets put in the fire, it doesn't get refined. The minerals don't get purified. There's no good in it. So if you go through the fire and you don't get purified through that fire, hey, what was the point? Right? So it says what? Verse 20. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. The most important thing I was trying to get out of that is, we read in Peter that it said that we're supposed to be following Yahweh Shai, who also suffered, man. Right? And you're going to suffer because Yahweh Shai suffered, man. You're not a greater than your master. So if he suffered, you have to suffer. Right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 20. Right? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 20, In verse number 20, then came to him the mother of Zebedee's the children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, what wilt thou? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit on the right hand and on the other on the left in thy kingdom. Now, we may not be desiring to sit on the right and the left of the kingdom of the Most High, but of Yahweh Shai, but we are literally desiring to be in the kingdom, right? We're desiring to be in the kingdom with Yahweh Shai. Whether we're desiring to sit on his right and his left, we're desiring to be in the kingdom, right? And it says what? Verse number 22. But Yahweh Shai answered and said, ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say also unto him, we are able. Right? So Yahweh Shai is asking them, can you deal with the chastisement that's going to come? Can you deal with the affliction that's going to come? Can you deal with the persecution that's going to come? So if you want the kingdom of the Lord, you got to know that you're going to receive evil at the hand of the Lord as well, man. You're going to have to be able to endure through the evil, the persecution, and the affliction, man. It's not always going to be easy, man. It's not always going to be roses and damn peaches, man. Sometimes it's going to be trials, man, and tribulations and afflictions and persecutions. And you got to know that you're going to receive good and evil at the hand of the Lord and be able to be strong to receive that evil, right? Verse 23, and he saith unto them, ye shall drink of my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left, it is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And that's plain upon tables, man. You definitely going to drink of this cup. If you walking in the truth, if you walking in Yahweh Shai, you're going to drink of this cup. There's no way around it. You're going to drink of this cup, man. You're going to be baptized with the baptized he's baptized with, man. The baptism he's baptized with. There's no way around it, man. So, like I said, we got to remember the chorus of this song. It is the Lord, let him do it with seeming good, man. And with that, I yield.
All right, Khan. We get in there with another commonly brought out scriptures. Let's go to Amos 3 from the top. It says, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So, I mean, we already know if we agree with the Most High, if we obey the Most High, then, we don't have any type of bad judgment, persecution, anything like that coming to us. Of course, all of us are going to face some type of chastisement by way of the Lord, but, it's like we say, a flip side to that coin. If we're walking in disobedience to the Lord, then of course, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have a destruction at our latter end, right? Going, it says, verse 4, will a lion roar in the forest when he hath no prey? And of course, that'll be a no, right? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have nothing, if he have taken nothing? Salakia. Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? So, I mean, the answer to all these questions, of course, is no. Verse 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? I mean, you can even think to the times of Jericho, like that's a no as well. Trumpet would be like a sound of war, sound of battle in the land, a warning. You know what I'm saying? Again, yes, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Right? So I'm going to finish it out. Verse 7, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. But the thing is, the Lord is the author of all things, right? Like there's nothing that goes on that doesn't have his cosign, you know what I'm saying? Or not even cosign, because like I brought out, like there is none above him. So it'll have to have his stamp of approval. You know what I'm saying? So Let me go to this real quick to go into what Gabar was talking about. So it says this Sirach 2, and I'm gonna go to 2. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Because of course, by cleaving unto the Lord, like it says, I think it's in Sirach 25, you know what I'm saying? That's the beginning of your faith, right? On top of it, if you cleaving unto him, you'll be doing what, is in accordance with him, obedience, right? So cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? Because it's like this whole book has been laid out in front of us, and we see all the judgments and what'll befall us depending on what we do. It's kind of like people in the world, right? As far as Esau got his government set up. If you was to sell these drugs, you know what I'm saying, what type of charges gonna come up on you. If you was to be caught with a weapon, or kill somebody, whatever the case may be, whatever your charge may be, you knew that before you did that. So now it's like you gotta take what's coming to you, right? So of course we gotta stay in accordance with trying by the standard of the Lord, or else, our latter end is gonna be destruction again. So I'm gonna grab one more. This will be an account. It's kind of lengthy, but I'm gonna try to get through it quick. This is Joshua 7 from the top. It says, but the children of Israel committed a trespass and the accursed thing, for Ashan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Bethaven, on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but few. So they went up thither of the people, about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men, for they chased them from before the gate, even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down, wherefore the hearts of the people melted and became as water. And Joshua rent his clothes and fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of the Lord until the eventide, he and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads. And Joshua said, alas, O Lord God, wherefore hast thou brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Would to God we had been content and dwelt on the other side of Jordan. So let me jump down. The Lord says in verse 11, Israel have sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them, for they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except ye destroy the accursed from among you. So, I mean, he gave them plain instructions. Don't take of any of the cursed things from the people, and Ashan, the family of Ashan, Ashan ended up taking it, right? But it's like, for what we got to understand is that even with some of our individual actions, that it can affect everybody. You know what I'm saying? It could affect the nation. But let's keep going. I'm gonna jump down to hold on. I'm gonna just all right, 13. It says, "Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel: There is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until ye take away the accursed thing from among you. In the morning, therefore, ye shall be brought according to your tribes, and it shall be that the tribe which the Lord taketh shall come according to the families thereof, and the family which the Lord shall take shall come by the households, and the household which the Lord shall take shall come man by man." So, of course, it ended up coming down to, like I said, Ashan of the tribe of Judah, right? So, he called them like such, as he said in verse 14, right? And let's see what happened to this brother, right? Well, he confessed, like after he called him forth, he confessed, and let's see what happened to this brother. Verse 24, it says, "And Joshua and all Israel with him took Ashan, the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his asses, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, Why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day." And all Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire after they had stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So the Lord turned from the fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor to this day. So, point being, by this man's actions and disobedience, what I'm saying, not only was in the battle we put to flight, by the enemy, but also the Lord dealt with him in this way. And a lot of people would look at that and it was like, damn, why did the Lord deal with this man this way? But like we said, the Lord is a just balance. Like everything comes from the Lord. So whether it be good or evil that will befall our people or other nations, it's of the Lord. And with that, I yield.
Cotton, that was a mighty account. I want to get this real quick in the book of First Peter, chapter 1 and verse 6. Right? It says, "Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth," right? The Lord said that the trial of your faith is much more precious than gold, right? It says, "Though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach." So the Lord is basically telling you, hey, when I put you through tribulation, when I put you through a hardship, it's ultimately to shine you up, right? To kind of get that nasty rust off you, right? That before the day of the Lord, you may be found what? Clean, holy, prepared for salvation, right? Now let's get an example of that, right? Through what? It says, through the heaviness of manifold temptation. Let's get this in the book of Psalm, chapter 32, and verse 3. It says, "When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of the summer." Right? And that's ultimately going back into what Peter just said. Right? Through the heaviness of manifold temptation, through the trial of your faith. Right? When the Lord's hand is upon you, it's ultimately to try your faith. Right? To see whether you're going to stand 10 toes down, or to see whether you're going to fold and go back into your own ways. Right? And go back into the world and forsake the Lord. Right? Let's get this in the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 18. It says, "And when they were come to him, he said unto them, Ye know how from the first day that I came into Asia, after what manner I have been with you at all seasons." Right? This is Paul speaking. It says, "Serving the Lord with all humility of mind, and with many tears and temptations, which befell me by the lying in wait of the Jews." So in this walk, hey, the Lord's gonna throw certain things in your path, ultimately to see whether you're gonna serve him or what, whether you're gonna serve yourself, whether you're gonna give up on the faith or not. Right? Let me get it like two more. Right? Let me get this in the book In Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 24, it says, "O Lord, correct me, but with judgment." And that's ultimately the spirit that you should walk in, right? And as a brother said, what I'm saying, the course of this topic is what? Is the Lord let him do it? He seemed good, roughly paraphrasing, right? If you're in a correct spirit, you should be asking the Lord to correct you. You be asking the Lord to judge you, right? I'm gonna finish it out though, so you understand what I'm saying. It says, "O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing." He said, "Hey, correct me, Lord. I need that correction, that punishment, that chastisement, but not in your anger." Right? Why? At least you be. It says, "Least thou bring me to nothing." At least you be overthrown and cast down with the dead. Right? And roughly paraphrasing in the book of Psalms, the dead can't praise the Lord. So you want that mercy from the Lord. You want that correction, but what? Let me get this real quick. In the book of 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter 7. Right? You want that mercy from the Lord. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse. Let me see. 2 Samuel chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, "And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers." Now this is the Most High and David speaking, right? It says, "I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men." Right? And that's ultimately going into what? That correction, right? That you need from the Lord. It's saying, "With the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him." So when you asking the Lord to correct you, right? You want him to give you that correction so that mercy increases as well. Right? He says, "But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee." Right? So you got to examine that. When you going through these tribulations and error, are you taking it how Saul took it as he continued to wax worse and worse? Or are you taking it to the chin and, really asking the Lord to give you this correction and mercy, as Jeremiah did? With that, I yield.
Con, let me get this precept in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, and verse 11. And it reads, "Teach me thy ways, O Lord, and lead me in the plain path because of my enemies. Deliver me not over to the will of my enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breatheth out cruelty. I have fainted, unless I have believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Hey, David said he would have fainted, man, unless he believed that the Most High is going to come back, man. It's that belief, your faith, right? Your endurance is going to help you endure in this truth, man. Right? And that's written throughout the scriptures, man. Let me get this real quick in the book of Colossians. All right, real quick. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 12, and it reads, "Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering." And so the elect is putting on long suffering in these last days, man. And that's one of the principal things to wear, man. Right? You can have all the faith in the world, you can have all the love for your brethren, but if you can't be long suffering, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you're in danger, man. It's that long suffering, being willing to endure trial after trial, the tribulation after tribulation, on an everyday basis, man. Hey, we are literally in hell, man. And some people may feel like, you know what I'm saying, every week there's something new going on, man. There's another trial coming at you. There's another tribulation, right? Hey, one day, hey, you know what I'm saying? It could be like Job, man. One day your car break down, man. Now you're not able to get to work, man. The next day, what? Your family, they call you and they start getting on you. And then they say, you know what? Hey, we don't want to deal with you no more, man. and then the next day you lose your job, man. This is trial after tribulation, trial after tribulation, man. But what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be like Job and hold fast your integrity towards the Most High God, or are you gonna forsake it, man? Hey, David said this real quick in the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 26 and verse 2. It says, "What? Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart." So David was asking the Lord to prove him, man. Right? What we got to understand is these trials and tribulation that comes at us is to prove us, man. It's to let us know where our heart and our minds is at, man. Because the Lord already knows. Right? The Lord already knows what's going to happen when it happens, man. He already knows what you think on a daily basis, how you feel towards certain people, man, how you feel about certain people, man. Right? But the Lord, He's giving us mercy and allowing us to see it. Right? Hey, why? You got to ask yourself, man. How come when I lost my job, the first thing I did was go on Indeed. I didn't pray to the Most High God and ask Him to help me get another job, man. Why are you trusting in your own strength, man? Right? Why are you trusting in your own knowledge, your own wisdom, man? The Most High can make anything in this world foolish, man. Even you. He can have you giving yourself into a false understanding or a false belief, man. And if you know, all hell breaks out on you, man. Right? So this is just something you gotta ask, man. Prove you. Ask the Most High God to prove you, man. And when you see things coming at you, hey, try to figure out where your mind is at, man. Because whatever you're doing now, that's what you're going to rehearse when you're in the wilderness, man. Where all hell is breaking loose, man. People are literally trying to kill you. They call it for boxing, they call it muscle memory, right? Whatever you practice, like, hey, that's what you're going to be like when you get tired, man. It's that muscle memory, man. Hey, you got to build spiritual muscle memory, man. Hey, first time you're hungry, hey, you know what? Look, man, Most High, can you please feed me for today? When you wake up, Most High, thank you for giving me another day, man. And every time you get done with a fast, Most High, thank you for allowing me to complete this fast. That's that muscle memory that we got to build up in these last days, man. Right? But with that, I'm going to pass to the next brother.
Right? Go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 24 and verse 15. Right? This is a book of Ezekiel, chapter 24 and verse 15. Also, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke, yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep, neither shalt thou tears run down. Right? Ezekiel was righteous, man. Ezekiel wasn't wicked. Ezekiel was a prophet of the Lord that wanted to serve the Lord. Let's find out what the Lord does to Ezekiel and what Ezekiel's response is, man. Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead, bind thy tire of thine head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover thy lips, and eat not thy bread. So I spake unto the people in morning, and in the morning, and at even my wife died. And I did in the morning as I was commanded. And the Lord killed Ezekiel's wife, man. Just, hey, I know you love her, I'm a killer. And he told him, you better not cry. You better not mourn. Just get up and do what I tell you to do. And Ezekiel did exactly that, man. Ezekiel didn't say, man, I need my 7 days. Ezekiel got up and did the work of the Lord. Now, I know that's not an easy thing, but I read that for people to understand how much lighter your affliction is than what Ezekiel was put through, man. Hey, that's after being told to damn lay on his side. After this, he was told to lay on his side for 360 damn days, man. On one damn side. And he had to do it. And he did it. He received the evil at the hand of the Lord, man. And he had to deal with it, man. He had to say, it is the Lord, let him do it which seemeth good. And Ezekiel was found righteous in the sight of the Lord. You understand? So it's like, we got to understand, we're not given this type of affliction. Matter of fact, let me get that. Let me go to Judith real quick. Right? Go to the book of Judith. See if I can find it. I ain't pulled it in a minute. Bear with me. Right? We don't go through what our forefathers went through, man. We don't go through it on their level, man. Right? See. This is the book of Judith chapter 8 and verse 26. And it says, Remember what things he did to Abraham and how he tried Isaac, and what happened to Jacob in Mesopotamia of Syria when he kept the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother. For he have not tried us in the fire as he did them for the examination of their hearts, neither have he taken vengeance on us. But the Most High doeth scourge them that come near unto him and admonish them, man. Right? He hasn't tried us the same way that he tried our forefathers. We haven't went through the same type of fire that our forefathers went through, man. Not even close, you know? And we got to make sure that in these last days, as we receive evil at the hand of the Lord, that we play that chorus in our head of this whole video, man. It is the Lord, let him do it what seemeth good, huh? Hey, we're going to kind of hammer that thing home, man. It is the Lord, let him do it what seemeth good, man. Shall I receive good at the hands of the Lord and not evil, man? You gotta kind of meditate on those two precepts as you endure and go through affliction, man. You gotta gird yourself up, man. Right? Let me get this in the book of 2 Corinthians dealing with Paul, man. Where did Paul go through? Was it all hunky-dory for Paul? Was Paul kind of, wasn't really dealing with much? No, brother. Paul went through hell, man. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse number 19. For ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye are yourselves are wise. For ye suffer if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak, howbeit, whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly, I am bold also. Right? I'm going to jump down to verse 23. Are they ministers of Hamashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths oft. Of the Jews 5 times I received 40 stripes, save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck, a night and a day in the deep, man. In journeys often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils of my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils of the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren. And let's not forget that Paul ended up getting beheaded. Right? And this is all at the hand of the Lord, man. But guess what? Paul going to be in the kingdom. Hey, Paul may get 10, 15, 20, 30 cities, man, that he runs, man. Paul was tried and proven in the sight of the Lord, man. And we got to make sure that we keep that chorus in our mind. It is the Lord, let him do it what seemeth good. I'm going to let brothers get their closing precepts and we're going to close out.
All right, Con. Let me I'm gonna stay in the book of 2 Corinthians, because with all that Paul went through, what does it say in chapter 12? This 2 Corinthians 12, and I'm gonna start at 9. It said, I'm gonna start at 8. It said, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, red letter, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So we're going to go through some things. We're going to go through affliction. Let me keep going. It says, most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Yahweh Shah may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. So he took pleasure in these things. He took pleasure in everything that bro just brought out that he went through in 2 Corinthians 11, right? Because like he said, he know it's just building him up. When he's weak, he's made strong, you know what I'm saying, through the spirit. Let me grab one more. And this is I'll pass it to brothers. This is Psalms 34 and 15. It says, the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. So there's that clear distinction. His eyes are upon the righteous, but he turns his back upon those that do evil, which means, you know what I'm saying, like it says, what's the topic? Shall we receive good at the hands of God and not evil? Every man is going to get according to their works, right? Keep going. It says, the righteous cry, and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of them all. And I felt like that went hand in hand with, you know, all these mighty accounts that the brothers brought out, you know what I'm saying, with especially with that brother Paul. But with that, you got it, you're right.
All right, let me get this second Esdras, chapter 7. I'm gonna really start at verse 3. It says, and I said, speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great, but put the case, the entrance were narrow. The entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Right? Ultimately saying what? Hey, how could you get into the kingdom without walking through a form of what? Persecution, without walking through a form of chastisement, correction, right? It says there is also another thing. A city is builded, right? And what's that city? That's the kingdom of heaven, right? It says, and set upon a broad field, and is full of good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall. Right? This walk is dangerous. Right? Why? Because you have to go through a lot of things in order to get there. Right? I was talking with a brother the other day. He was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? If this thing was easy, you know, if coming into this walk was easy, you know what I'm saying? If it was all peaches and creams, we would have nothing to work for. Right? If that's the case, we would just be like Adam, knowing nothing but good. You know what I'm saying? How could we then elevate and turn away from evil? Right? It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if it were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Right? And I'm gonna get this in verse 57. It says, then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer. And what's that suffer? Right? Ultimately, you know what I'm saying, your end will be death, destruction, plagues, famines, you know, nuclear missiles, whatever the Lord has stored up for you, right? And it says, but if he get the victory, meaning what, you overcome and you endure this walk, you endure the flesh and the trials and tribulations, he shall receive the thing that I say. And what's that? That's the crown on your head. Like it said in the book of James, the 1st chapter, right? It says, verse 59, for this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life, that thou mayest live. And with that, I yield.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 8. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our troubles which came to us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure above strength, insomuch that we despised even our life. But we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in Yahweh who raised the dead. Right. So hey, it's good to be pressed out. Right. It's good to have a whole bunch of weights on your shoulders, man. Because just like we're partakers of the suffering, we're also going to be partakers of that consolation, of that salvation. Man. So with that, I'm going to pass to the next brother.
Con. Lord willing, somebody was edified or will be edified in the coming days from watching this video, right? We're going to get ready to, do what we got to do to head the count. We're going to be at 202 Main Street, right across the street from Taste Bar at 3:30. Come out, fellowship, ask questions, whatever's on your spirit to be done. You got something, Uriah?
I'll go after you.
Right. Now go ahead, Ken. You got it.
Kyle, I was just gonna say, y'all make sure y'all follow our new Instagram, SOZ Houston. SOZ Houston. You know, it's pretty plain. SOZ Houston. That's all I wanted to say. We're gonna keep y'all updated with like camp locations, stuff like that.
Con. Make sure you go subscribe to SOZ Houston and Hebrew Daughter, the water sister, for all your support. Just one quick thing, you know, we no longer are WFI. We're Sons of Zion. We still love those brothers. They're still our family. But that's not the camp we part of anymore. We Sons of Zion. But the water for your love and your support, sister. But yeah, we'll be at Taste Bar 202 Main Street. The brother's gonna update it on the Instagram. Make sure you go subscribe to SOZ Houston. Come out, show love, ask questions. Until next week, family. Ashar Shabbat. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.